Hello again, I am Blunty. You're seeing this video on my Blunty 3000 YouTube channel, but it is a repost from my DigiDirect TV show that I do for digidirect.com.au. I'm cross-posting because last time I cross-posted a video, it was about the new Canon 70D, which a lot of people are excited about, but in that video, I also got to try the new Sigma 18-35 f1.8 constant aperture zoom lens on it very briefly, but this video is the complete review, and I had a lot of requests for the review, so I thought I'll put it on both channels to make sure as many people who follow me around the net get a chance to see it as possible. And you do want to watch the review because, well, it's a really nice lens. Spoiler alert. Hello again, Shadowbuggers. I am Blunty. This is a gorgeous day, and welcome to a Sigmatic episode of DigiDirect TV. Now then, the episode, I know a lot of you out there have been chomping at the bit for the review of this, the brand new Sigma 18-35 f1.8 constant aperture zoom lens. This is a very special lens. There is literally no other lens on the planet like this one. Well, except for all the other identical models of this particular lens. I'm not saying this lens right here, this physical thing is the only one in existence. I mean, it's one copy of the whole thing, which is the new lens from Sigma. Who needs a script when you can ad-lib like I can? But in any case, this is a lens review and it looks exactly like a lens, so instead of sitting here watching my fat head point out how much it looks like a lens, why don't I just go shoot with it and we'll tell you all about what this lens does in the field, in the real world, and why you will want to own one. Providing, of course, you've got a camera suitable to attach it to. Even if you don't have a camera suitable to attach it to, you might want to buy one anyway, because it's, spoiler alert before we get into the real review, it's pretty good. Actually, that is a lie, I'm afraid. The lens is not pretty good. It is, in fact, discombobulatingly fantastic. The lens has been specifically designed for an APS-C-sized sensor, and in those terms, the field of view full frame focal length equivalent is 28.8 to 56mm on the Canon, or for everyone else like the Nikon folk with a slightly different crop factor, 27 to 52.5mm. And whichever one you're dealing with, that wide to standard focal length range is amongst the most useful, and speaking personally, the most enjoyable range you can shoot in. But what makes this lens special, truly unique, and the thing that has massively raised the bar for every other lens maker out there is the fact that this is the world's first zoom lens that has an f1.8 constant aperture. Nothing else out there can match it. Any other option anywhere else, and you'll either be copying a noticeably slower constant aperture, or worse yet, dealing with a lens that gets slower and slower and slower as you zoom in. So what all this means, in a practical sense out there in the world, is that you gain much more power and flexibility over the competition's lenses. Video shooters, for example, you can now keep your lens wide open at f1.8 for that lovely, gentle, shallow depth of field, or for low light situations, and you can smoothly zoom in and out without all that hideously jarring amateur hour exposure stepping as your lens aperture starts slamming down on you as it does in most other lenses anywhere near this price point. It is a truly glorious thing. Having a zoom lens this fast and keeping that fast aperture throughout the range means that the Sigma can, and for many people I expect will, completely replace 2 or even 3 separate prime lenses. But one of the main advantages of a prime lens over a zoom lens, aside from speed, is often sharpness. A zoom lens by its nature and additional optical complexity will often be at least a little bit softer than most primes. So let's see about that. Well, I was honestly astonished to discover that this zoom lens, even shot wide open, often not a lens's sharpest option, the Sigma maintains very good sharpness and actually maintains it pretty consistently throughout the entire aperture range. Even closed right down to f16 where diffraction can normally be an issue, it's bewilderingly well behaved. And the only time any vignetting was noticeable at the corners was at the long end and wide open, but even then it was still fairly slight and pretty much vanished entirely by just stepping down to f2. The background blur quality is smooth and organic looking, pretty really. The lens has a 9-bladed aperture to help keep things creamy. The bokeh balls are nice and round in the center, leading to slightly oval near the edges. flare is pretty well controlled too. Being a Sigma lens, of course, it comes with a lens hood in the box to help kill off flare even better, but for these tests I wasn't using it. Regular viewers will know I like to see what the flare is like and if I can use it creatively for a bit of drama. Now, I know I'm gushing again about a Sigma lens, and I'm not sure what dark wizardry Sigma have been conjuring in their doubtless cauldron and candle-filled laboratories, but holy crap, man. Seriously, how are they doing this? How is it done for this price? And why haven't the big boys at Nikon and Canon been able to do this? Like I said at the beginning, it's discombobulating. Now, trying to step down from the hyperbole a bit again, there's very little chromatic aberration and related issues on this lens as well. On very high contrast areas, it will produce some very slight magenta and green fringing, if you pixel peep, but it is slight enough to be easily corrected for in editing. And the fact that the only sample shot I found with any real noticeable example of it was on a friggin' spider web should really tell you something about exactly how minor this quote-unquote issue is. Physically, the lens holds up to the fantastic build quality evident in all of Sigma's new lens lineup. It feels luxurious and smooth in hand. Though the nature of a zoom lens this fast does mean that you're dealing with a lens of fair size and noticeable weight to it. It's not heavy feeling, just sort of confidently solid. Both the zoom ring and focus ring have excellent grip and feel extremely smooth when turned. And even better news, the focusing and zoom all happen internally, so the filter threads and barrel stay precisely where they are when you're operating the lens. Really good news if you like to use graduated filters or polarizers and such. The only thing I don't like about the hardware feel, and this is admittedly a personal and very subjective thing, is that the rings have a slightly long travel, so a zoom or focus pull in video mode needs a bit more travel than I usually prefer. But that said, the control and feel are truly superb. Manual focus feels extremely manageable, even with the very shallow depth of field you can deal with on this lens. Autofocus is very quick and fairly quiet, up there with many of the better DSLR lenses out there. And as I said before, I feel very safe in claiming that this beastie will replace a pair of wide primes very confidently. And it's an absolute godsend for DSLR video shooters. Now, of course, it's a Sigma, so you can get it in Canon, or Nikon, or Sony, and Sigma and Pentax mounts. But I was testing on my trusty Canon 60D. Trusty, yes, but not that great at high ISOs, especially in video mode. So having a zoom lens at f1.8 is near magical. Impossible shots become possible, and even the previously possible shots become even better, because you can keep the ISO lower, which will deliver you cleaner, noise-free shots in low light. And of course, since trying to use autofocus in video mode on the 60D is an invitation to bone-shattering frustration, the excellent manual focus ring is very welcome here too. To put it plainly, there is no other single lens out there that I could slap on this camera that would have let me shoot like this. I would have had to have splashed significant cash on 2 or 3 fast primes, and dealt with not only carrying them all around, but the time and effort and manual dexterity it takes to switch them out on the fly. You risk missing shots. So the Sigma is not only power, but freedom. I am in gear lust with this lens, there's no question of it. I'm almost angry that this is yet another Sigma review where I'm forced to gush on like a schoolboy in love. I want to be snide and pragmatic about the thing, but I can't. I love it. The only drawback, if you can call it that, is the size and weight. It's hardly subtle in either regard, much bigger and heavier than a kit lens of similar focal lengths, for example. But when you think of it as a replacement for a pair of fast primes, it's actually very easy indeed to justify carrying it around. There's also no stabilization in the lens, but at these speeds and at these wide angles, it's not such a big deal, and it would have made the lens even heavier. For video, it certainly would have been nice to have, especially if you're like me and enjoy shooting handheld. But if you wind up with some footage that has some shake beyond what you wanted, you can always do what I did for some of these very shots and use software correction in your editing suite. It's actually pretty good these days. So, who is this lens for? Well, everyone, I'd say. Seriously, I can't think of many kinds of shooters who wouldn't get years of wonderful, regular use and excellent service from this lens. But in particular, video shooters will love these focal lengths, constant and fast aperture, smooth focus and zoom rings. And if you shoot weddings and concerts and similar events that you need a very fast and flexible zoom for, then you're going to adore this lens. Buy it now, buy it now, buy it now. Oh, and a kick-ass bonus, not only have Sigma now started offering up a 4-year warranty on their new lenses, but they have a new service that can switch out the mount on your lens for you. Meaning, if you're a Canon shooter and down the road you want to switch to Nikon because they release some kick-ass new camera body you can't possibly live without, or indeed vice versa, you don't have to sell off your camera body and all your lenses and then replace your entire kit out. No, instead your Canon mount Sigma lens can now become a Nikon mount Sigma lens, or a Sony mount Sigma lens, or a Pentax mount Sigma lens. You get the idea, right? And it's that little trick that makes it even harder to say no to filling your camera bag with Sigma's superb new range of glass. Not only are they great, not only are they superb value, but down the road if you switch camera bodies, you've got the freedom of keeping all your lenses in service and not have to sell them off and replace them just because you change the kind of camera you shoot on. It's fantastic. So there you go, guys, that is the brand new Sigma 18-35 f1.8 constant aperture zoom. Are you in love with it yet? Because I am. It is the best in its class that I've ever used, and it comes in at a Sigma price point. Brilliant quality, brilliant price. Why aren't you ordering one yet is my question to you. So there you have it. I'm going to end this video now because I've planned poorly and the backlighting in this video is getting stronger and stronger and I'm getting further and further buried in shadow because I'm an idiot. That is your lot for this week's DigiDirect. I couldn't resist the scenery. It's beautiful back there. That is your lot for this week's DigiDirect TV. Join us each and every Wednesday for more DigiDirect TV. Perhaps next time I will look at a reflector or something which I could have used to sort of bounce some light onto my face instead of doing like this. So you're always learning here on DigiDirect TV. Join us on the Google Plus community page to share your shots and talk about other people's shots and techniques and stuff, and just basically hang around with a bunch of very friendly photographers of all skill levels. Email me directly if you have an idea for a product or something else you want me to look at in one of these shows. Otherwise, make sure you are subscribed to our YouTube channel here to get each and every Wednesday episode delivered to you directly in your subscription feeds when and if the YouTube subscription feed system works properly, which it never has in living memory. Anyway, I'm out of here. See you guys. No mistake outtakes, not like last week when I went on a big old sweary rant, which a lot of people thought was pretty f***ing funny. But yeah, have you noticed I'm back outdoors again? Spring has turned, winter is draining away. Unfortunately, I have to leave my hoodies behind. My beloved hoodies are having to go back in the closet for another couple of seasons. But I get to come back out here in the beautiful Sydney scenery, here in the Botanical Gardens, in case you're curious, and do some videos out in the world again, because I like doing these DigiDirect videos out in the world. If you're a viewer since episode 1, actually, no, did I do episode 1 instead? I don't remember. Anyway, no outtakes, so it's just me waffling on like an idiot.